Treasure.
Are you gonna climb over the fence?
What? There is barbed wire there. Alright, here we go.
Little hut. Look, hide up there.
Yes. This would be a nice little place to hide some valuables. The Elk River is a 95-mile-long stream of water in southern Kansas, known for its beautiful tree lines, deer, and bubbling brooks. But it's also rumored to be the secret place of a lost treasure, buried somewhere along its banks. It began in the last days of the Old West, when a quick-draw outlaw was crisscrossing the countryside, stealing horses and robbing banks. His name was Henry Starr, born 1873 into a family tree of bandits. Henry's grandfather was the outlaw Tom Starr, and his uncle was married to Belle Starr, the lady bandit who rode with the James Gang. Henry followed suit at a young age and committed his first robbery at 19. In his career of crime, Henry Starr held up more than 20 banks and amassed a huge fortune of money. Until he was finally winged by a bullet and captured in Stroud, Oklahoma. And in 1898, he was given a long prison sentence. But the story did not end there. While incarcerated, another criminal named Cherokee Bill stole a gun and took several of the guards as hostages. During the long standoff, Henry offered to work as a negotiator, and he talked Bill into surrendering his pistol. This act of heroism earned Henry Starr a pardon from Theodore Roosevelt, followed by a book deal and a movie based on his life, which Henry starred in as himself. Amazingly, the man who shot Henry was also hired to play himself, and the movie was filmed on actual location. In a way, it was a literal repeating of the play in which we are all actors. Such is the surrealism of the electronic age. Henry had gained national fame as a celebrity outlaw in the period between the Old West and the days of ragtime. Henry Starr was officially the first American bank robber to use a getaway car, and the first cowboy outlaw to carry a machine gun. But he was an uncommon ruffian for sure. Between his release from prison and his fame as a silent-era movie star, Henry lived and worked quietly at his mother's restaurant in Muskogee, Oklahoma. As far as anyone could tell, Henry Starr never harmed a civilian. He never ratted out his friends, and he never spent the large fortune of money he stole. Over $60,000, worth nearly $500,000 at the turn of the century. When asked on the record what had happened to the money, the pardoned criminal smiled and said that it was hidden somewhere in the border area of Kansas and Oklahoma. at a place none of you will ever find. And so the legend of Starr's fortune began. And for over 100 years, treasure seekers have been hunting for it. And now, we're hunting for it too. And we're inviting all of you to come along. Here's what we know. Henry Starr and his accomplice, Kid Wilson, robbed 2 banks along the Kansas border. In the town of Caney, they stole $4,900. And in the tiny town of Turon, they stole $2,000 from a bank. There is one road connecting the towns and then diverging north. We know Starr and Wilson continued north and west and committed more robberies in Colorado. And there was but one northwest route at the time, directly along the Elk River. We are highly certain that the money was not spent, it was not thrown away, and we know it was not returned. We also deduce that it must be in a metal box to prevent erosion from weather or other natural elements. And with these facts in hand, we begin our search for the buried treasure. Directly north on the road between Caney and Turon, along the Elk River between the ghost towns of Elk City and Elk Falls, where Starr and Wilson were spotted in the 1890s. And we'll be bringing along our metal detector and our magnifying glasses. And we hope you can come along too, as we continue the quest for buried treasure. I am a lonely being, scarred by swords, wounded by iron, sated with battle deeds, wearied by blades. Often I witness war, perilous fight, nor hope for consolation that any help may rescue me from strife before I perish among fighting men. But hammered swords, hard-edged, grimly sharp, batter me, and the handwork of the smith bites in the castles. I must have a way to contest yet more cruel. I could never in any habitation find the sort of doctor who could heal my wounds with herbs. But cuts from swords ever increase on me through deadly contest, both day and night. My dress is silent when I tread the grounds, or stay at home, or stir upon the waters. Sometimes my trappings and the lofty air rise me above the dwelling places of men, and then the power of clouds carries me far above the people. My ornaments loudly resound, send forth a melody and clearly sing when I am not in touch with either earth or water, but a flying spirit. A moth ate words. A marvelous event, I thought it when I heard about that wonder. A worm had swallowed some man's lay. A thief in darkness had consumed the mighty saying with its foundation firm. But the thief was not one whit the wiser when he ate those words. They are all gone into the world of light, and I alone sit here lingering. Their very memory is fair and bright. My thoughts are sad. It glows and glitters in my cloudy mind like stars upon some gloomy grove, or those faint beams in which the hill is dressed after the sun's removed. I see them walking in an air of glory, whose light doth trample on my days which are at best dull and weepy, mere glimmerings. O holy hope and high humility, high as the heavens, these are your walks. And you have showed them me, to kindle my cold love, dear beauteous death, the jewel of the just, shining nowhere but in the dark. What mysteries do lie beyond thy dust? He that hath found some fledged bird's nest may know at first sight if the bird be flown. But what farewell or grove he sings in, that to him is unknown. And yet as angels in some brighter dreams call to the soul when man doth sleep, so some strange thoughts transcend our wonted themes, and into glory. If a star were confined into a tomb, her captive flames must need burn there. But when the hand that locked her up gives room, she'll shine through all the sphere. Father of eternal life and all created glories under thee, resume thy spirit from this world of thrall. Either disperse these mists which blot and fill my perspective, or else remove me hence into that hill where I shall need no glass. The waterfall, with what deep murmurs through time's silent stealth doth thy transparent, cool and watery, here flowing fall and chide, as if his liquid loose retinue stayed lingering, and were of this steep place afraid. The common, where clear as glass all must ascend, not to the final, but quickened by this deep and rocky grave, rise to a longer course more bright and open. Dear stream, dear bank where often I have sat and pleased my pensive eye, why since each drop of thy quick store runs thither whence it flowed before, should poor souls fear shade of black, who came sure from a sea of light? O useful element and clear, my sacred wash, my first consigner unto those fountains of life where the Lamb goes, what sublime truths and wholesome writings lodged in thy mystical deep streams, such as a man can never find, unless that man be led by spirits.
I've got some hot leads. Why don't you come with me? We're going this way. I think it's time we activated the meadow detector. And there we go. We're in business. If there's anything good down here, we're gonna find it. Oh yeah.
I hear rushing water.
Last time you said that, it was an air conditioner.
That's true.
I did just be an air conditioner.
It's a really large air conditioner.
It's the largest. The largest and the best. Think that'd be fun to jump down there?
My fear is that it's not deep enough.
You can always land in the mud.
Very funny.
Alright. Enough horsing around. We have treasure to find. Here is where it may be.
What do you got there?
Nail.
All right.
Keep rocking and jamming.
Some people would consider cherry Pepsi a treasure.
Perfect place. The very treasure box. Oh, yeah. Yes. Warmer.
Forgot a shovel again.
You did? And you know what, baby? You're my treasure. I've already got one. I just want some glamour shots of you, gorgeous. Ah! I wonder what that is.
Look how cold the water is.
Yes, very cool and breezy right here.
Did you make a wish?
Sure, I'll break one side of it and we'll make a wish.
Okay. Make a wishbone?
Yeah.
You won. I got the tiny wishbone.
Well, guess what? My wish already came true. A long time ago.
You had a burrito?
No, I had the best thing ever that came into my world. Nothing my wish came true. I don't need that. And I don't need any treasure either. I have no need for treasure. But I do want to share some treasure with you.
What is that?
I found a tiny cereal bowl for an elf.
It's a seashell.
Tiny bowl for an elf. And I want you to have it.
Oh, thank you.
That's my treasure I found.
It's very
And I
sweet.
shared it with you.
Good for me.
Some years after his movie fame ended, Henry Starr went back to his old territory, rounded up a gang, and tried to rob a bank one more time. He was shot in the process, and as he lay dying, a newspaper reporter asked him if, for the sake of his young fans, he would renounce his life. Starr turned and looked at him and said, "I can't do that because I loved my life. I loved the adventure." Henry Starr died in a prison cell in Arkansas in 1921. Thank you for coming with us today, and good night. We wish you the wildest of dreams.